All right, so I don't really remember what week this is. I think this is week 5 now. But from the background, I moved back home, so this week has been kind of busy with moving back and what's it called? Finishing up finals. Uh, but the only thing that really happened this week was a little bit of deep learning using Keras or TensorFlow into Keras, where I essentially create something called sequential, and then you create the hidden layers with dense, and then each of them goes through an activation function with either could be a sigmoid function, which is the one used in logistic regression, or a rectified linear unit, etc. Did a little bit of that, but mostly this week has been focused on SQL because I've noticed that, well, I realized it's about time to learn SQL. The thing about this is this language is very similar to well, this is really similar to Excel in general, but I'm not really good at Excel. But it's also very similar to a lot of like the pandas functions and like what they want to do, and unique, in which if what's it called, pandas were to say count the number of uniques, this would be distinct, just a little bit different names, but they all pretty much have the same functions. So I've been using this website called mode.com, and it's like this free SQL tutorial. I think it's pretty good. I've learned quite a bit already. I started with the basic, and I'm moving through the intermediate pretty quickly. I think the only confusing part is when you start getting to the joins and then start doing like, different ones. And then sometimes the query takes quite a long time to compile. So then I feel like I did it wrong. But if you check, they have solutions. So if you check the solutions, it usually tells you on average it takes like this much time to run. Um, but yeah, not much really this week. Next week I'm not gonna be home for a lot. Going to be out, I think. So in terms of goals, I think definitely want to start, or not necessarily start another project. Well, I guess start another project, but basically maybe do another exercise on Kaggle. Um, where I take a data set and I start practicing really taking the data manipulation seriously and really doing it myself without much help. Obviously, I can look up commands and stuff like that, but yeah, that's one thing I really want to do next week. Probably get started on that. I don't think I'll be done with it, but definitely get a start on that. And of course, start getting the basics of SQL down and maybe start, actually grinding some questions. Um, I don't have to go too hard on this because it's not like I have a lot of job interviews or job opportunities right now because it is December. So most of the tech companies are pretty much done hiring. So we'll kind of see what happens with that, but not much this week. So this is gonna be fairly short. Next week I'll probably cover. Let's see. Next week I might cover a concept that I've learned, or maybe some SQL commands. I'm not really sure yet. I'll decide next week, but yeah. So this week, in summary, SQL and a little bit of TensorFlow using Keras with neural networking. But that's about it. So I'll see you guys next week.